Welcome to another edition of the Strategist Podcast here on the Dakota, brought to you by Shock Safe and Lock. I'm Jonathan Starr. Today, we have an exciting podcast. We have the owner of Unmanned Operator here with us, Travis. It's pretty exciting to have him on. We get to learn about drones. We get to learn about the oil field and a bunch of other stuff. So join us on this journey. First off, welcome to the podcast, Travis.
Pretty good. Thanks for having me.
Yes, great to have you on. So you do drones, you fly drones all over North Dakota. You do some pretty exciting stuff. Tell us a little bit about it.
So the easiest way to describe what we do is we make digital twins of sites.
Okay.
Basically take you to the site from an email.
Wow.
An email link.
So we've seen stuff in real estate, and I know that we're not going to talk a lot about real estate today, but like a Matterport rendering where you can go walk through a house from your home.
Yeah. It's not that high tech.
Okay.
Matterports are really cool.
Yeah.
But they're not made for like industrial use.
Right. Exactly.
You got to set them things up. They got to spin around.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's the same concept.
Same idea. Except we're adding the drone, like a 2D map over top.
Right.
We're also, and then the 3D version, basically like a video game.
Okay.
And then the Matterport idea of, basically a higher resolution version of Google Street View.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
We're putting them all into the same thing.
Right.
So we can do that and send a link in an email to that map, and they can go look at that site or whatever it is from anywhere.
Wherever they're at.
Yeah.
And so this is great for engineers, for people that need to have like analysis done on the actual site.
Yeah. Think about what COVID did to us.
Right.
We're all working from home.
Yeah. We're all golfing.
Yeah.
Because that's what you could do. You could golf.
Yeah.
And work from home.
So now we can bring an engineer or somebody that's not stationed in North Dakota.
Yeah.
The ability to design something anywhere else.
Right.
We save our clients a ton of money.
Yeah, absolutely.
Time and money. That's the most important thing in business.
Right. Absolutely. And you would know about that because you spent a little bit of that getting into business.
Yeah. A lot of time and money.
Yeah.
But
a lot of effort.
It's going in the right direction. That's for sure.
That's awesome. So when you're decided to start become a drone, you have experience in the oil field, correct?
Yeah. Like 10 years.
10 years experience.
Yeah.
What caused the idea to happen, and what was kind of that process?
I saw where things were going with drones. I guess to backtrack a little bit, I was always an RC car person.
Okay.
Loved RC cars.
All right.
Well, now you can fly an RC car.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
That's really cool.
It is.
And so I got my first drone during COVID.
Okay.
And started playing with that. And I'm like,
right.
I want to do this for a living.
Wow.
Like, how am I gonna do this, right?
Yeah.
So now I'm still working, and I'm like, you could use a drone for this.
Yeah.
And so I went down the deepest rabbit hole ever during COVID on drones. Okay. I sucked up everything on YouTube that I could possibly find on drones, on mapping, on all this stuff. Right. And decided, hey, we could use this in oil.
Wow. While you were going down the rabbit hole of YouTube, did you ever connect with the guy that does YouTube videos in Minot on drones?
I've never met him, but this is a funny story, actually.
Okay.
So that's 51 Drones, right? I think his name is Russ. I'm not really sure.
Russ.
But so one day I'm watching one of his videos.
Yeah.
And it's Trestle Bridge.
Okay. Yep.
Flying around a Trestle Bridge. I'm like, is that here? Is that actually here? I'm like,
right.
There's no way.
Right.
There's absolutely no way. This guy's got thousands and thousands of followers. Like he's one of the top drone creators on YouTube.
Yeah.
And he's in Minot.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's just nuts.
Yeah, that's funny.
But I don't do what he does.
Yeah, he's more consumer, right?
Well, he's a creator.
Yeah.
Right? He pushes product he probably gets paid for it. I don't know.
Right, yep.
But we don't do that. I don't want to do that.
Right, yep.
I don't enjoy creating video as much as I do what I do.
Yeah.
I love to fly.
Yep. So you saw that it could be used in your job that you were doing in the oil field during.
Yeah, sort of. I saw areas where it could be used, and has nothing to do with really what we do now.
Okay.
I thought we could use drones to do some of the lease operators' jobs.
Okay.
Shortage of people, obviously, in the
Right.
state. You could fly around and check sites without actually having to drive to them, spend a bunch of time. You could sit in a single location, check a bunch of sites, because a lot of companies' sites are very, very close to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it started. It obviously then we went to pipeline, and pipeline they're still not really like, especially up here, they're really not into that yet.
Okay.
They're not accepting of it as much. And the barrier to entry into pipeline work is a little bit high as far as like what companies want for insurance.
Oh.
So
It's a huge deal with flying a drone.
yeah, and insurance, like one company was like it was basically insuring for us to work for them. Our insurance had to be on par with like a helicopter.
Wow.
It just doesn't make sense, right? And you find that out after you've spent hours and hours working on,
Yeah.
and it is what it is. But
Time and money.
yeah, time and money.
Yep.
But that really then propelled us to doing mapping sites,
Right.
creating a very valuable product for our customers, and we keep trying to add to that. Like, I will continuously ask our clients, hey, how can we do this better?
Right.
Because if they're I may not see it, but they do. So
Right.
that's one thing in business is like, don't ever be like content.
That's good.
That's not, and it has nothing to do with money. It's always try to be better. Like, you want this project to be better than the last.
Right.
So that they're like, this is awesome. Right.
With business and really with life, I think that if you're always moving in a direction and there's no such thing as just staying where you are.
Yeah.
So if you're staying where you are, you're going backwards is what you're doing.
Yeah.
So you can either not be content and continually try to be better. It's not, like you said, it's not about the money. It's not about trying to raise your prices and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
It's simply about trying to continue to bring the best product. Somebody else is going to get in the marketplace, and somebody else can do exactly what you're doing right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And, we compete, but we don't, because there's companies that are way bigger than me in North Dakota.
Yeah.
There's companies that fly thousands of wind towers a year in North Dakota, and they haven't really touched oil yet because they don't have the expertise. So I stay in my niche.
Yeah.
Because, and I try to keep improving that niche because I have a pretty good hold on that. And that's really important to know your place in especially in competing with other companies. I'll never probably break into what those bigger companies do because there's a big amount of money invested.
Yep.
And I'm not as good at that as I'm not. And it'd be foolish to tell myself that, right?
That's being fair.
So I like to stay in my niche, and I like to improve that, and then take that to new marketplaces like construction or whatever, right?
Right.
Take what we've learned in oil. Hey, we can move that to construction and do the same thing for construction companies and big projects. Mm-hmm. And they're going to see a huge advantage now.
Right. So an example of that would be like the North High School. Maybe that's not a huge project, but there could have been value in that on a project like that.
Yeah, and I didn't pursue that at all because of the airspace.
Yeah, that's right on North Hill, right close to the airport.
Yeah,
but but those type of projects.
That's
basically.
Exactly right. Yeah. So like the stuff we look at is like big long-term projects.
The Maverick next to the new Trinity, the new Trinity Hospital that was being built, and now the Maverick's across the street.
Yeah. I haven't got to talk to that guy yet.
If you're listening, reach out. He'd like to talk to you.
But yeah, so that's where we're trying to do. We're trying to start where we know where we are.
Yeah.
And what we do really well, and move that to other sectors. And
Right.
then we do branch out and do other things like video here and there for companies, pictures, all that stuff. But we have probably over the next 2-3 years, there's going to be so much growth in this drone sector.
Yeah.
There's going to be room for other companies, and we won't even be competing, to be honest.
How do you feel that AI is going to affect your job? Everybody says it won't affect my job.
AI is going to help my job.
Okay.
I can't talk about that yet,
Oh,
but there is AI coming.
is that to your company?
Not to my company,
okay.
But it is for it's
Gotcha.
for a different sector that we're.
That's awesome, dude. That's exciting.
AI is a really cool thing. And honestly, like, you look at a drone and it is basically an AI machine.
Right.
I don't know that I could, unless I disabled sensors on my drone, it's really hard to crash.
Okay.
It's got like 16 or 20 cameras looking in every direction.
Okay.
Like, if I'm landing that thing and it's too close to something, it won't land.
Okay.
If you're flying at something, it just puts the brakes on.
Wow. It knows.
Yeah.
So one day I come into our studio and like a mic's on the floor and it's just like, what happened in here? Well, I looked a little bit more and I realized that the vacuum cleaner that we had like a Roomba or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Electricity went out. It freaked out because electricity went out. And so it just started running everywhere. It found its way into the studio. It ran over cords. Cords started pulling mics.
Oh no.
It was epic. But that's a worst case scenario. Is there going to be something like that for drones where they'd have a pad that they go and they land on that somehow would charge, and then once a day they go out for the scope of a site or something?
Yeah. There is already.
It's already there.
Yeah. It's drone docks.
Okay.
A couple companies are making them now. That is going to be a hard push. Eventually, I'd like to do that. I'd like to have a bunch of them out in the oil field doing that kind of stuff. Basically, circling back to where we started, because that is an ultimate tool for operators out there. Having a drone that flies sites every day and gives pictures to them, say in the office, basically autonomously.
Yeah, that'd be huge.
Oh yeah, I mean, you save a bunch of time driving to a site.
Right.
A lot of companies don't go to site every day now.
Okay.
It's called pumping by exception.
Okay.
They have a set schedule on when they're going to go there unless something happens. Unless they're
meters freak out.
Yeah. Whatever. Unless something's production down or something's
Yep.
down.
Right.
They don't visit it. This would be a tool to basically curb spills.
Wow.
Have a wellhead going out or something like that.
Yep. You have to be more proactive.
It'd be very, very cost efficient for them.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could basically put that thing in a central location. It's gonna need internet and power. That's it.
Yeah.
And then eventually we'd be able to get what they call beyond visual line of sight.
Okay.
Thing on that, and that's where it's probably going. We'll see.
Yeah.
But the nice thing about North Dakota too is that we have I say this, we have a workforce shortage. It's very nice for me.
Yeah.
Because my company creates, time and money savings.
Yeah. Solutions to help with
that.
With that, exactly.
So use drones to do something that you can't get people to do right now because there's not enough people in the state.
Right.
Right.
That's awesome.
Super simple.
Yeah.
That's going there.
Yep.
ChatGPT, really cool product.
Yeah.
Kid from my high school in Grand Forks is actually the co-founder of that company.
No way.
Yeah.
North Dakota.
Yeah. It was actually Greg Brockman is his name.
Okay.
He graduated with me.
Wow.
We thought that kid was going to be like Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Well, he kind of is now.
He made it.
He did.
Did you use ChatGPT when you were trying to create a business plan? I'm kidding. ChatGPT was a little bit after but did you create a business plan? Did you go through all that formal structure?
Yeah. So I actually went to business school.
All right. Was it worth it?
No, absolutely not.
Let's get the truth here.
It wasn't. I paid a bunch of money to learn how to basically create business plans and a little bit of things that I didn't know about here and there. But like the first couple of years of college, I just partied. And it was terrible.
Yeah.
It was just terrible. Like I had no place being at college.
Mm-hmm.
I went to like 4 different schools.
Oh man. Nice.
And it was fun.
Yeah.
I didn't learn a lot though.
Right.
And I literally like 2 months before I graduated, I had a really good internship in Fargo and I just hated it.
Yeah. What was it? What were you doing? I
I
don't
was
care what
working
company,
for
but
the company that owns that multi-band tower
okay.
in Fargo. And they basically made me make brochures and it was just terrible.
Yeah.
So I decided to come out and work in oil.
Right.
And never.
And this is like 10 years ago. So maybe a little bit less, but when oil was like rocking.
It would have been 2013.
2030. Yeah. So it was,
Yeah.
it was booming still.
So one of my roommates in college actually came out here. He's got a big business in town now. But he kind of told me, yeah, you should try it. Well, tried it, never left because I came out here and I'm like, this part of the state's way better than the eastern part of the state.
Yeah.
Love it out here. I would never go back. I can't like you get out west of here and then you get into the Badlands. Oh man, it's just beautiful.
Yeah. Especially if you're flying drone.
Oh,
you can't fly too
so
much over
awesome.
there. You have to get your FAA pass, whatever.
Yeah, I got that during COVID.
Okay. But do you fly in some of the Badlands? You can't fly. Right? Well, I guess it's more the park.
Just the park.
Just the park.
There's technicalities there too. Like,
Okay.
So I don't know what the actual rule is, but you cannot take off from there.
Okay.
But you can skirt it. You can video it.
Yeah.
From outside. You just cannot take off from that airspace.
Tell them about the camera, Travis. Tell them about the camera. You can go like 2 miles, right?
Oh yeah.
So you can see like way into the park with your thing.
Yeah, you could. It's just, everywhere around like Theodore Roosevelt, you can go and it's like the same. So
That's
it's
fair.
really not.
You don't really care about the park.
Yeah, it's just not worth it. But it's really cool.
Yep.
We've mapped right on the border of it. But
it's just beautiful.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Compared to the eastern part of the state.
Yeah, a lot of my videos, if you ever see my videos, you'll see a lot of Badlands.
Yeah.
Because when I get out there and I'm like, oh man, once I'm done with the job, I'll be there for like an hour.
Nice.
Videoing.
Yeah.
Just for having clips to add to videos of mine, whatever, right?
So do you have to bring like an extra truck just for batteries? I mean, you're shooting all day. How long do your batteries last? The consumer drones that we're able to get are like 30 minutes. So that's not going to be very long.
So in like the wind today, like 20, 25 mile an hour, we're probably going to get like 30 minutes.
30 minutes out of a battery.
The thing says it's supposed to be like 50, but it never got 50 in my life.
Yeah.
Usually like 30, 40 minutes, something like that.
Wow.
Because you got to think about this too, is like the wind really never doesn't, it's always blowing here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're mapping anywhere between 150 and 300 feet, usually. Okay. So the wind is much higher up there.
Yeah, you're feeling it.
Our drone will take like 40, it's rated to 40 mile an hour. It's just fine at 40 mile an hour. Once it gets to 50, then it's really not fun.
Yeah.
We'll just put it down.
Yeah.
Anytime we hit over 40, we put it down. But the batteries aren't a problem because we kind of, our truck is set up for it.
Okay.
My truck has, a lot of trucks have like plug-ins.
Plug-in. Yep.
Now ours has separate inverters that come off. We have plugins in the back. We have secondary plugins in the back. We could basically run a construction site off that truck.
Wow.
There's a lot of power that comes out of that.
That's crazy. That is crazy, dude.
The only problem is new trucks always shut off after 30 minutes, and it's just super annoying.
Yeah.
So if you're sitting there, because your inverters will kill your battery.
Okay.
That's the only problem we have.
Yeah.
But yeah, so our truck's set up so we can literally fly all day.
You can do all day.
We started with generators, but generators now have sensors in them.
Okay.
Tilt sensors. So if you're driving down a gravel road out west, they're really bumpy and it just kills the generator constantly. So it doesn't work.
You go electric generators? I mean, then you're just playing with electricity all day because if you run out of electricity in your generator, then you also lose that power for your batteries.
Yeah, and so, pickups have alternators that make way more power than you can ever consume.
Yeah.
So
you just stick with that.
So we just go right off of that.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just interesting because the ability to fly all day, that's something you probably had to think about a little bit.
Yeah, well, luckily my business partner works in electrical, so
okay, there we go.
He helped me out with that part.
He knew what was going on.
Yeah, he helped me out a lot on that, and so now we have a pickup that can charge anything all day.
Yep.
We can do anything we want all day.
Right.
If we want.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we got this big battery pack. I mean, the batteries are like this. They're about like this.
Wow.
Big
nice.
bricks. They look like a brick, actually.
Right. Yeah. Probably feel like it. They're heavy.
Yeah, they're heavy. That battery case with 8 batteries is like 65 pounds.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy. So you went to business school.
Yeah.
You didn't get much for the business side of it.
I got another funny story on that.
Okay.
So I went to business. I went for engineering when I started at UND.
Okay.
Then I went to a community college in East Grand Forks, Minnesota. Then I went to NDSU. And then I finished across the river there at a place called Minnesota School of Business.
All right.
Funny story, that
touch them all.
Minnesota School of Business is no longer in business.
Man.
so I'm not sure if I actually have a degree or not.
You don't know if you have a degree. You don't know if they were really good at business either.
Yeah. So, not really sure if I have a degree, but that's fine. I learned some things.
Yeah. Well, see, and this is kind of like one of my questions with it is I did a lot of online school when I went to college.
I did too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you go to class much at all? You were able to make friends
3 times a week.
Okay.
But before that, I went to all class, like all.
Okay.
Basically, everything was. I don't think I had an online class before that.
Right. Yeah, you'd been close to like the term where online schools
were just starting
popular, because I don't feel like college is always that profitable. But the thing that I see is, especially in small town North Dakota, is that you have people that are working together that work tight together, and you find out they went to high school together or they went to college together, and there's these connections that were built that had nothing to do with business that now as they turn professional, they're starting to pay off. You don't get that in an online school.
No.
Like there's names that I know on a discussion forum somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm like, whatever, great.
Yep.
Did you just find value in that at all? You mentioned one of your roommates or something or buddies has a business in town.
Yeah, he's got a huge business. His name is Kevin Black.
Yep.
Credence Energy Services.
Yep.
He's got a huge company now.
It's big. Yeah, and he's doing a lot of help remodeling downtown.
Yeah,
I had a feeling it might be him when you mentioned him.
Awesome.
Yeah,
he's an awesome guy. So I haven't really tapped that because, like, for Kevin, like we don't work in the same kind of sphere. Like I've asked him, I've had a couple conversations with him about it, but we don't. There's not stuff we can really work together on, so we don't really tap that. But he's the one that got me into EDC, the Minor Chamber, all that stuff. So I guess you could say I did, but I haven't.
He tapped you at least.
Huh?
He at least tapped you because he's on one of the boards of the chamber, so he got you to go to his thing. You need to get him to go the other way now.
Yeah,
just return the favor.
Well, I did a favor for him. He did. A favor
okay, there we go.
Yeah,
I'm just being honorary.
Yeah, I know. Yes, it would be if the people that you were in school with were like in the same field.
Right.
Most of the kids that I went to school with are like in Minneapolis playing that game, like trying to squeeze by with a business degree or something. And everybody's got a business degree.
They're not hard to get.
It's like the worst degree to get, and I got it just because I want to be done.
Yeah.
And
they're obviously hard to sell too because the college went out of business. So
well, that probably doesn't matter. I don't know, but like you're probably better off being like some kind of trade because you can make way more money.
Interesting. You're hearing that a lot, just in general, from people saying go do a trade. It's something you can keep, and it's $40 an hour.
It's insane. If I would have known that, I would probably have been an electrician.
Yeah, I almost was an electrician.
Really?
I out of high school, I went and said I was going to be an electrician.
Yeah.
Went to the union, whatever.
Yeah.
Filled out the application. I sat in the interview, and there's like all these people, and I look at them all. I'm like, dude, everybody here looks miserable.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
And they're probably miserable because it was a 7-hour day of just talking to people like me, telling all the same answers. There's probably a bad decision.
That's silly.
But I'm like, I don't want to be miserable when I'm 20 years into my career.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you never want to do something that you hate.
Right.
If you hate it, you're going to be miserable. That's going to come off, in your personal life too.
Yeah, it will.
It's not fun.
That's what was something that you mentioned earlier that I thought was interesting was when you said you were just during COVID playing around with a drone and you're like, dude, I got to do this for work. Yeah. Where you turn your hobby into and there's dangers to that too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because when I first went in business, my hobby became my work. I'm like, dude, what do I do now for fun? Because literally that hobby, I enjoyed it. It was fun. And now I do that all day and it's still fun and whatever. But and the business side of it, there's different things that begin to develop and you figure it out. But at first you're like, whoa, dude, I don't know how to get away from work now.
Absolutely. In the last 2 years, I've never experienced that. So that's good.
Yeah, that is.
There's nothing better than putting the sticks down and having that thing spin up and it's so much fun.
Good time.
And a lot of times, like I'm not even flying. You just program the route right away. And but yeah, I get what your point is. Like,
right.
You don't want to be miserable doing stuff. But the trades are really, that's where it's at right now. There's nobody doing it. And there's such a shortage that, especially if you get into a company that works like industrial or oil and gas, you can make a ton of money.
Yeah.
A ton.
For sure. How do you manage work-life balance?
Ask my wife. No. You have to shut it off. You have to be able to hit.
How do you do that when you're an entrepreneur?
Basically kind of a necessity.
Yeah.
Because, you have your kids and your wife, and I guess the best and easiest way to do it is like going to like activities with them.
Yeah.
And seeing how much fun they're having, all that. Your brain can finally say, okay, we need to shut the phone off or turn on silent, whatever.
Yeah.
That's my biggest flaw. It is.
Do you work from home?
Yeah.
That makes it way harder.
It is. It's hard. But at the same time, when I got a kid that's sick, something like that,
it's convenient.
I can
nice.
Work some and then come back, check on them, whatever.
Yep.
And so that's really nice. The other reason I work from home is because having a brick and mortar business right now, it's hard.
Yeah.
Like you got rent, you got everything you have at home right now. Yeah. Right. And for me, if going down the road, once we get a few employees, probably will.
Right. It's kind of, you have to.
You almost have to. But right now it's not necessary.
Right.
And it's, but you're right on the work-life balance. It is tough when you work at home.
Right.
I have like the downstairs area kind of at my house just kind of sectioned off where I do my work down there.
Right.
And then when I'm upstairs, I don't. Mm-hmm. That's kind of how it works.
That's nice. So you can kind of leave work. It's still there, but you can leave work. You can go and I'm going upstairs and now it's family time.
Yep. I leave my computer, all that stuff down there.
Yep.
Mostly because the kids will get into it, but
works.
But yeah, that is a huge thing. I don't know what I would do with my wife was just a rock star when I started this. Cause like there was times there was like ups and downs, you know, you got that roller coaster and you're constantly on this emotional roller coaster of, I just got this job. I just lost this job.
Yes.
I just lost another one. And your highs and lows. And it's like, it's gotta be really hard for them.
Right. Yeah. It has to be hard for the spouse. You don't think about that as much. And it's difficult. You're talking about getting jobs, losing jobs. It's so interesting when you see that, because you also get to see the finances. So I was talking to someone. It's like when you go and you're sitting across from someone and you have a $10,000 deal that you're making, or you have for the next 6 months, it's going to pay you $3,000 a month.
Yeah.
You see that $3,000 a month and you're like, okay, that pays for this portion of my business. That pays for this, whatever. That's how you're able to, you see that money. Yep. It's not a salesperson where you say, okay, I made 20%. Okay, sweet. I'm going to this is going to be a $600 commission, and you move on. And a salesperson also gets to see that, how that affects their life. I understand that. But from a business standpoint, you look at it completely different. Like, you're like, dude, you get to a point where I need this deal. Yeah. This deal has to happen. And you got to keep that desperation out of the talk. And desperation might be too strong of a word, but it's
very true.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you're right about that. You look at something like, okay, I already, like, right when I started, it was like,
right,
how do I make enough to pay myself? Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now it's way better than that. But
right.
Now it's like, okay, now all our expenses paid for the month.
Yeah.
Now everything on top is profit.
Exactly.
Right? That's where you want to be.
Right.
Every month. And that's kind of the goal every month. My business is kind of weird where, you know, we're very seasonal.
Yeah.
In a way. We'd still fly all year round.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do basically whenever the weather will let us, we'll go out and do it.
That's what your billboard says, I believe. I think I saw your billboard around town that said something about that you do it all year round. Right? Maybe not.
I don't know if the billboard said that, but one of my posts did.
Okay, maybe it's a post. Maybe I got mixed up.
Yeah. We'll fly, there's snow on the ground, whatever. As long as it's like right at that 0 negative line. Yeah. It's fine.
Makes sense.
Drone will handle it. The batteries on it are crazy. They actually heat themselves. So
wow. I guess
it just basically put it outside, let it warm up for 5 minutes, and the batteries tell you, okay, now we're good.
Wow.
Then you can go. But so I have to make up, being seasonal, I have to make up for those like 4 months. Right. Especially like that February, March where it's brutal.
Yeah.
That is where we don't do a lot of work, but now we have the ability to go to like trade shows and stuff during those times.
That's good.
Where you're building the business. And that's another thing that's really interesting, where you learn a lot about yourself.
Yeah.
Building business is not just like going to places. It's meeting people you have no idea who they are and might be like your best client ever.
Yeah.
That's why you go to those.
Right. Because
you find people and then you find people too that might not even ever do business with you.
But they talk.
And they get you somewhere else. And now it's like, oh, this guy got me here. Well, I'm getting him a Christmas present.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's big.
I think the biggest thing in business is knowing people.
Yeah. There's connections.
And I didn't know that right away.
So how did you build your network? You already had a decent network. You were in the industry for several years.
Yeah, but so my network was production. Mm-hmm. We don't work with a lot of production. We work with engineers.
Okay.
A lot. So it took me a while to figure that out. Actually, a long time.
Okay.
And knowing how to spend your time and where to go is probably the biggest thing. So going to a conference about like oil production might not be good for you, but going to a conference about building, that's way better.
Interesting.
You meet the people that actually build things,
right?
And that's the people you want to talk to, right?
Yep.
Knowing like old bosses and stuff, they might get you to that person, but they might not even know who does it.
Yeah.
So we pretty much had to start over, right?
Yeah.
Well, we had a few people that we knew, and they ended up working out, but when we started, but it's a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
Especially in a niche business like me. Like, we're not like a siding company that, you know, you have however many houses in Minot.
Right.
Those are potential clients.
Right. You're basically trying to show the need.
Yeah, we have to show the need, and we have to find the right people to show the need too.
Yeah.
And explain it in 10 seconds.
Yeah. That's all
Right?
they give you.
Well, that's all that people really have attention span for. You look at how long people watch things on like YouTube and stuff.
Right.
Like, shorts are the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Because people's attention span's gone after the minute.
So they just want to scroll.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. So finding the right people. Networking's awkward.
It is.
Networking's hard.
Oh, yeah.
How'd you get comfortable? Did you?
I'm still not comfortable doing it.
That's fair.
You walk up to somebody that you know who they are, and they have no idea who you are, and you're just like, "Hey, I'm Travis."
Yeah.
Right?
Do you have a digital twin of your site? Hi, I'm Travis. Do you have a digital twin of your site? Is that like your opening? What's your opening?
No. My opening is basically, it's dependent on the person.
Yeah. Okay. He's not giving away the trade secret. We're trying,
Well,
guys.
no, there isn't really, because it's all dependent on the person that you're talking to.
Right.
It's like, what is this guy like? I'm very good about targeting people. Mm-hmm. So if I know someone's going to be at a meeting that I want to talk to,
that's good.
I want to know a few things about them before.
Okay. I want to talk about this.
Okay.
Do you go and create a list of people that do you have a list somewhere of people that you want to meet?
Oh yeah.
Nice. Do you go and through time add stuff to this about the people, like build a profile of the person?
Social media is easy with that.
Right.
You can go find it.
Right. You can go find it. But so you just link to their. So when I'm thinking in my head, and you may not, and I've seen some companies do it, is they'll go create a target list. These are people we want to talk to.
Yeah.
And then, so you're saying then it would be a literal Excel document. Okay. Or something similar. It doesn't have to be Excel, but something different, something similar, right? And then they build out a profile of them. They go and they research them so they have their socials. Yeah. And then, if you're in my industry where we do digital marketing, we're going to know who their current web host is. We're going to go and know their website inside and out. And then we're going to figure out the key contacts of the company. Then we're going to start learning more about the key contacts of the company. So then we can have a profile of them. So when we have the opportunity to meet that person, whether it's just running into them at the gas station or something else, we already have a profile. We already kind of have an idea of who we're talking about.
Yeah. If you have someone you want to talk to, go to the company website, and if they have a profile, read that and learn it.
Yeah.
Learn it. And then make a plan on how you're going to get to that person. So if that means you have to get through 3 people, you're going to learn about 3 other people. You're going to talk to them and say, this is what I do. And then they're going to say, oh, hey, you're going to go talk to John.
Yeah.
And that's how you do it.
This is networking gold.
Oh,
if you're watching this and you struggle with networking and you struggle with finding the decision makers, this is stuff you need to think about, research, and go for, because this is huge.
Oh, yeah.
It will make or break your company.
Oh, yeah, it absolutely will. And even when you get to that goal person, they might say no.
Yeah.
But you just rinse and repeat.
Right.
And it works.
And you still establish the thing. I mean, how many times do you get told yes the first time?
Probably never.
Yeah.
Our biggest sales point is getting to a demo.
Yeah. Makes sense.
If we can get to a demo, I'm going to say we get to about 75% conversion on that.
Right.
Anything else, it's like 5%.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Right.
It makes 1,000% sense.
Oh, yeah. Once we can get in the field and show them what we're doing and show them how it can help them, it's easy.
Part of that has to be their frame of mind. If they are in the middle of whatever project, they could really care less about what you have to offer, even if it makes a huge difference. But once you finally get them to dedicate and realize, okay, this is huge, we need this, good to go.
Yeah.
But if they're not in the frame of mind, and when you're breaking through all those barriers that they have set up intentionally, they're just not in the frame of mind.
Oh yeah.
But you planted a seed.
Yeah. Planting seed is a big thing. Yeah, and the people that you talk, if you get a no, like, I think another thing that converts really well is just following up.
Nobody does it. That's old stuff.
Like following up them like a month later, setting a reminder to do that. I'm not great at that, but when I have days in the office, I just go through the people that I've talked to that are like, hey, maybe down the road. And I send out a personal email to each one of them. Right?
Very cool.
Remembering what we talked about.
Yep.
That's a big thing.
Right.
Making it more personal. You can never, ever send a generic email to someone expecting business. Like you get in your inbox sometimes, like those generic emails, like they're deleted.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. There might already be a filter on it just to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Do you have a CRM that you use?
No.
Very good. Very good.
No. And I wish that we did, but I guess the way I use it is I'm like, okay, I'm going to follow up with them. I just put it on my calendar.
Right. Yeah. Well, and like your reminders app, do you have an iPhone?
Yeah. I have the to-do list.
Okay. To-do list. Yeah. To-doist. And then the default Apple reminder, I don't use it, but the default, like you can get a reminder based off location. I think you can get the same in Todoist. So you can assign, you can go like leave a meeting and then you can set it up basically where when you go back to that spot, you get a reminder of that person with all their information on it.
Oh yeah, I've never seen that.
Stuff like that. So
that's a good idea.
Right.
But yeah, like I just set To Do works with, I think it's called To Do.
Yeah.
And I think that works with Outlook.
Okay. Gotcha. Yep.
They're put together somehow. And then you just have like a task list or it's in your calendar. I don't know exactly how it works, but
it's good.
It tells me so if I'm sitting in church and
that's always a good place to be.
Well, yeah. And I'm thinking, Mike, I have to do this. I'll just put it in To Do, and then the next day it'll tell me to do it.
There you go. Nice.
Right.
That's good. That's helpful.
Where we're at right now.
Right. So you've been in business for a couple of years now. You've been in the industry for a while. You've had your ups and downs. What's like the number one lesson that you've learned that you think another entrepreneur should know before they go and take the plunge, or if they just did take the plunge?
Do shit that scares you.
All right.
That is one of my favorite quotes. I have no idea who said it.
Yeah.
And it is the best thing ever because what we're just talking about, networking. Like,
yeah, scary stuff.
It's scary. Like walking up to somebody that's like a community leader or an industry leader and just being like, hey, I'm Travis.
Right.
And they're like, oh, what do you do?
Yeah.
And you give them the 10 seconds and they're like, okay, well, I got to go. And that was awkward.
Right. Have you worked at just refining that 10-second, like your 10-second spiel, stand in front of the mirror, you got it down?
Sort of.
Yeah.
But it's also dependent on the person.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We mentioned that.
So, yes and no, it's getting there.
Yeah.
You know, the easiest way for me to describe it, what I do is I make digital twins of sites.
Yep. Right. And that sounds interesting.
It might. Yeah.
That's the thing with the 10-second is people want to get so descriptive. You don't want to be descriptive. You want to be interesting. You want you want them to know enough where they have an idea, where they can imagine, but not enough where they have to ask a question. Where they go and they get back in their car and they're like, wait, he makes a digital twin of a well site or whatever type of site. What exactly would that do for us?
Yeah.
And so then they have to ask a question. They have to talk to somebody at the office or give you a call.
Yeah. And so once I do that, if I get into a conversation with them, business card.
Right.
And
you still use business cards?
Oh yeah, I do. I have really cool ones.
That's good.
I actually don't have them with me. I'm out.
I always
straight up out of
business cards.
I just ordered new ones yesterday.
Nice.
But I take and put like the coolest pictures of my drones stuff, and I put it front and back on that thing.
Cool.
So they look at it and they're like, this looks really cool.
Yeah. Right.
It's not like a flat black with gold lettering.
Yeah.
No, not me.
Don't look at my cards.
No, this is not my business.
Yeah. Right.
That's how it is. You know, like the back of my new ones will have like my truck.
Yeah.
And the bunch of oil wells behind it and my drone above it.
Okay. Nice. That looks cool. That looks
so
sick.
it's like, yeah, it's kind of showing, that we do business in your industry.
Right.
So that's an oil card.
Yep.
Now we'll have different cards for different companies, for different industries.
But if you're an entrepreneur, do stuff that scares you.
Yeah.
Get outside the box.
Yeah. Like this. When I went on with Easton on my business podcast, like I intentionally reached out to him to try to get on that podcast because it's like, I've never done that.
Yeah.
I probably don't want to, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Right.
Because you grow from that stuff.
How much exposure did you feel like you got from it? That's an unfair question.
No, it's not.
I'm not asking that as far as like how much reach does it have, but did you feel any effects of that? Basically, it's more what I'm asking.
In a personal, like, business way, I did.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like I was more empowered to do more.
Right.
Right. You did that thing that scared you. Now you're going to do something else that scares you again. And it's like, it's kind of a snowball. You just got to keep that snowball rolling.
Right.
And now we're like, okay, at the same time, we're just starting to do advertising.
Okay.
Okay.
We've seen the billboards.
Yeah. Our billboards, they're new. I had fun. I made all those.
Very good.
And we got a pretty good deal from Dakota. So we're just like, we'll try this.
Don't use them.
Whatever.
Just being dumb.
Okay. We'll try this, whatever. It was kind of a strategic plan because at the same time that was happening, we saw another competitor maybe starting to enter.
Nice.
And so I saw that. I'm like, hey, we got to figure out something, do a little ground pounding and show that we're a little more dominant in this market than this person. Right.
Right.
And just get our name more prevalent. So we did that. We did the billboards, and then we also started posting. I made a plan to start posting on LinkedIn a lot more. And oh my goodness, that's a great place.
Really?
So it's interesting. We started this like, we'll say October 1st, right?
So recently.
Very recently.
Okay.
And prior to October 1st, like our site and like LinkedIn, like what do they call it on LinkedIn? Impressions.
Yep.
We're getting like, I think we had like 1,200 for the year.
Okay.
Now we're at like 1,200 for October.
Wow.
Right. And it's like, whoa. And the site stuff went up.
Yeah.
Conversion to site was going up.
Yeah.
We're still not good at like, I don't even remember what you call it on Google. Like your
SEO ranking?
Yeah.
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 That's a whole different
that's
beast.
a different thing, and I haven't got into that yet.
Yeah. Because
most of the people that we're getting for business aren't ever
so
to our site.
We break it down this way. I look at like Google, if there's a roof in your leak, if there's a leak in your roof, you're not going to go to Facebook, right? You're not going to go to LinkedIn. You're going to go to Google. Like, roofer near me. You're going to call up a roofer, right?
Yeah.
But if you're going to look for shoes to buy, you're going to go to Nike.com, or you're going to be scrolling to Facebook and you're like, oh, dude, those Nikes look amazing. Yeah. And you're going to click on that ad and you're going to buy them, right?
Yeah.
And you almost have one of those businesses where people aren't necessarily Googling it yet because they don't know what they should be Googling.
Yeah.
So your search engine ranking isn't that important, but your LinkedIn presence is because that's where they're at.
Yeah. And they're looking at what we're doing, and we're getting, you gotta, I don't know what likes do for you, to be honest.
Yeah. Increases your impressions.
Yeah. Well, anyways, so let's just say we have 50 connections that are in there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now we're getting 400 impressions on a post. I'm like, well, that doesn't seem right.
Yeah, that's because people are engaging with your posts, so their friends are seeing it, right?
Seeing it, right?
Yep.
And that actually is cool because that led to something I can't talk about yet.
Nice.
And
AI drones. That's what it is, folks. I'm kidding. I don't know what it is.
And the like, say, the Minotauro Street Show.
That's cool.
But it also brings the fun stuff like ad agencies.
Yep.
Out of the woodwork.
Right. They're there for you.
Out of the woodwork.
Yeah.
They come.
Yeah.
And that's fun though.
Because you have to respect them.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you're doing the same thing.
Absolutely.
With the oil field.
But it's just something different.
Yeah, it is.
Like you start.
You made it. When you start getting spam phone calls from people from Google My Business, you know you made it.
Well, yeah. And, the other thing that I would say too is, and this is a little off topic, but when you're an entrepreneur, saying no to like an opportunity is never a good idea.
Right. Explore.
So like those meetings, like those ad meetings, I take them.
Yeah. That's awesome. You probably learn a lot.
Oh yeah. I learn a lot. I learn about what they're doing and I learn about what I'm doing wrong.
Yeah. Right. That's awesome.
And that's something for down the road. Right?
Wait, this should be like sub point to I asked you one thing that you should tell an entrepreneur. This should be like 1B.
Yeah.
It should be, don't be afraid to learn.
Yeah. No, learning is the whole game.
Yeah.
Learning what you're bad at and learning what you're good at and getting better at what you're bad at and expanding on what you're good at. That's literally.
I think a lot of entrepreneurs out of the gate struggle with being vulnerable. And so they want to be the pro because after all, they're the business owner. They need that for their reputation. So they shut down on their ability to learn and try to position themselves as the expert. I'm an expert. And it hurts them. It sounds like you don't do that.
Anybody can be an expert on anything now with YouTube.
Yeah, right.
So
at least claim they are.
It's kind of one of those things, right?
Right.
So yeah,
it's good stuff, man.
Yeah, this has been fun, man.
Yeah.
I don't even know how long we've went, but
yeah. We've gone on for a while, and really, I just feel like doing a Joe Rogan style one and just going on for another 2 hours. But I don't know. We probably shouldn't.
Yeah. Well, we could do it again sometime if you want.
Yeah, we'll have to do a follow up for the people.
Yeah.
But
and if you want, I know you do those little webinars.
Yeah.
Just call me up. We'll come on.
We'll do it. We'll do it.
Because I have a little different take on what you guys do.
Yeah. So, awesome.
Yeah.
No, that'd be awesome. Well, thank you for watching this episode of the Strategist Podcast here on the Dakota, brought to you by Shock, Safe, and Lock. I've been John the Star. Travis has been here with me with the Unmanned Operator. Be sure to follow the Dakota on YouTube, on Facebook, like, subscribe, be part of the community as we just try to bring cool things to North Dakota. Thanks, and have a great day.